The best teams in Europe will fight it out in some of the best stadiums in Europe, and some that are a little past their best. To celebrate the 60th anniversary of the competition, it will be held in 12 different countries. They couldn't have chosen a worse year to host it in multiple countries. But you know what they say, hindsight is 20/20. Wait, what? Did that saying predict the future? Anyway, let's just get into it. Here are the stadiums for the Euro 2021. Well, it's still the Euro 2020 because, well, they've already made the merch and the signage and stuff like that, so let's just pretend it's 2020. Anyway, here are the UEFA Euro 2020 stadiums from smallest to largest. We start off with Parken, which is home to Denmark's national football team and is comfortably the biggest in the country. The design is rather interesting. It kinda just looks like a typical football stadium with an individual stand on each side, but with the addition of the retractable roof that ties it all together. This stadium's pretty good, but it must have some very strict rules or something, because I always hear people talking about getting Parken fines. Moving on. The award-winning Aviva Stadium, most notably the award for looking most like a greenhouse, a very niche but fiercely contested category at the Stadio Awards. It narrowly defeated New Zealand's Forsyth Bar Stadium. This venue is home to both Ireland's national football and rugby teams. The translucent exterior looks incredible, although the tournament will be taking place in summer, and one downside is that it doesn't really protect the spectators from the sweltering Irish sun. Actually, I'm not sure that will be a problem. Hampden Park has a rich football history. It's Scotland's national stadium and was once the world's largest stadium, reaching a peak capacity of 150,000. Which is quite incredible considering Glasgow's population. Nowadays it's looking a little tired, but it's by no means a bad stadium. You have to put some respect on a stadium that was the biggest in the world for nearly 50 years. But yeah, it's not one of Europe's best stadiums. Estadio San Marino. I love this stadium. Interestingly, there's a giant video screen on the outside and not on the inside of the stadium. Speaking of the outside, it has one of the most beautiful exteriors in the world. This 3D imaging doesn't do it justice. Take a look at that. Elevated above the river, imposing like a citadel, yet delicate like a flower. What does that even mean? Obviously, I'm not the only one that thinks it looks incredible. The locals were so keen to start playing in the stadium that they moved in before it was even finished. I don't blame them. Johan Cruyff Arena is named after the legendary Dutch footballer who also has football's equivalent of an ankle breaker named after him, the Cruyff turn. This stadium recently underwent a renovation, which mainly focused on the exterior, and the appearance has changed quite dramatically since Google did their last flyover. I quite like the new look, and I like that the stadium's retractable roof is translucent. It's just much better, especially for a day game. Arena Nationala is another stadium with a retractable roof, although it's a completely different style of roof. The exterior looks kinda similar to Germany's Deutsche Bank Arena. It's not a rip-off though, it was designed by the same architect. And you know the old German saying, wenn es nicht gebrochen, tu nicht Lösung es. Or in English, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I really like the interior, it looks quite elegant. I was going to say those video screens could be a little bigger, but when you look at what's holding it in place, just some cables, you can understand why they're not the biggest. Puskás Arena is Hungary's shiny new national stadium, built on the site of the not-so-shiny old national stadium. While I say shiny, it's actually got more of a matte finish, but you know what I mean. It's named after the legendary Ferenc Puskás, who captained Hungary during their golden age. This spectacular stadium is not too dissimilar to Donbass Arena, which is one of my favourite stadiums in Europe. But I think this one is even better, and it's less occupied by Russia, which is always a plus. Not cool, Russia, not cool. Awkward. Krystovsky Stadium. Well, it was built for the 2018 World Cup, as you may know. The design is supposed to resemble a flying saucer, which it definitely does. These things here even look like those retractable ramps you often see on a spaceship. Unlike most spaceships, it does have a retractable roof, which is not a great idea in space with it being a vacuum and all. Anyway, it's a fine stadium, although I can't work out the purpose of those huge spikes. I guess it's just for looks. Baku Olympic Stadium. Well, it's not quite an Olympic stadium. It hosted the European Games, which is less prestigious, but I guess the name Baku European Games Stadium doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. The exterior facade can light up all the colours of the rainbow, and I like that it can be seen from within the stadium. Also, the seats, track and field more or less make up the colours of the Azerbaijan flag. I don't know if that was intentional. Probably was. The obvious downside to this stadium is that you may need binoculars to watch the match, because you're sitting a long way Baku. Stadio Olimpico, unlike the last one, is an actual Olympic stadium, having hosted the 1960 Olympics. Back then it didn't look anything like this though. It was rebuilt and had a roof added for the 1990 World Cup. And in 2008, the interior was restyled. It's a fairly simple, single-tiered construction. Once again, having the running track isn't ideal, but the spectators are a lot closer to the action than they were at the last stadium. Allianz Arena, or the Schlauchboot as it's nicknamed, meaning dinghy, is famous for its fully colour-changing inflated exterior. In fact, it was the first stadium in the world to have this ability. It emits so much light that you can apparently see it from mountaintops all the way over in Austria. Let's just check that. Okay, there's Austria. There's a mountaintop. Let's see. I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, it's daytime. Of course I can't see the lights. What am I talking about? Back to Germany now. Even if you don't like Bayern Munich, you have to admit that the interior looks a lot more vibrant since it was Bayernized. It looks amazing, to be honest. And last but certainly not least, the home of English football, Wembley Stadium. It's the biggest venue in the tournament, so it comes as no surprise that it will be hosting the final. It's the second largest stadium in Europe and has more roof-covered seating than any other stadium in the world. Wembley's most recognisable feature, the huge arch, is the world's longest unsupported roof structure and an iconic part of London's skyline. And there you have it. Those were the UEFA Euro 2020 venues. Let me know in the comments who you think will win the tournament. I'm certainly no expert, but I have to go with England. Mainly because their biggest obstacle, Iceland, failed to qualify. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.